Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me on a live stream. I don't do a ton of these anymore because I have a tendency to ramble on and people tell me to shut up and get to the point. So when I record this stuff in my studio and then edit it, well, it's great because then I can cut out me rambling for too long and it goes from 2 hours to 1 hour stream. And sorry if I blew your ears out, by the way, on the intro on that. A little bit hot. Anyway, welcome to the program. Appreciate y'all being here. I got a few things to kind of go over today. In each article, I've broken up with a little video to try to show you what I'm talking about. And I realized something. I could label every video I have, women were wrong, men were right. Or women are proving men are right. Again, women complain, men were right. Like, it's always this. I could just have the same thumbnail. But the reason why I've done videos now for 5 or 6 years is we keep telling them what the problem is. They keep ignoring it. Then either they come to the realization that men that like a traditional household and like traditional women, they either come around to say, you know what, these men were right. Can't believe this. These guys are right. Or they come out hating us even more and ignoring the data that shows that we were right. And that's kind of how all of this goes. You know, now we're in a really weird place where it's men that are the ones that are loving idealistically and of course, women loving opportunistically. Meaning guys will fall in love with a woman and no, she's not perfect. No, she's not exactly what you need. But guys will say, you know, something, I love her anyway. Thick and thin, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. But, you know, I love her and everything's good. And women are the ones that are saying the tiniest little thing has gone wrong. I got to go. I got to bail. I got to bounce. I'm out of here. And it's women that are doing that now. And recently they changed the divorce laws and custody in Kentucky. And wouldn't you know it, divorce rates plummeted because women couldn't get the golden parachute of child support by leaving their man. And that's what they've been doing. They say, hey, I get a payout. You mean if I leave and say he did all these bad things to me and I get to keep custody of the kids? I get a golden parachute and I get to leave him and I still keep the kids. What do you know? Turns out that was a big problem. Here's the headlines we're going to be reading from today. They told women to date like men. Now no one's falling in love. Something has gone terribly wrong. Marriages in disastrous decline. They say perhaps because of women, but it is actually because of women. Even their own commentary in the article says that, but God forbid they actually blame women for it. Would your spouse leave you if you lost your job? A new Quicken study shows maybe. Well, yeah, maybe. Definitely if you're a woman. Midlife divorce is good for you as long as you're a woman. And then I got a bunch of video clips we're going to play in between. Here's the first video clip that I'm going to play from today. The older generation, which is my generation, maybe some of the older millennials, they've gone through this. This woman speaks for many of us, which is I called off my wedding to a great guy, and then I dated other great guys, and I treated them like crap, and I ruined my life. Now, us older generation, we went through this, which is why I do videos. So you younger generation can say, oh, okay, yeah, this does actually happen, and I'm going to avoid this. So you can learn from the pain that I have gone through. All right, let me play this video. I'll try to modulate the audio so I don't blow your eardrums out again. Sorry about that.
Your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs?
Let me play this at 1.25 speed because it's got copyright music on it. And I do want to upload this to YouTube later. So,
your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs? 100% my fault. It was the first time I dated someone after I called off my wedding, and I was just really excited to just like date casually, and I just like really fell for him. So for months I was like, I don't want to date you, you're not my boyfriend, and I was pretty not nice to him, and then I was like, okay, we can date, and I was just like really in love with him, but I really...
Okay. Sorry, they prattle through all this. I'll let her finish, but then I'm going to play it a second time just so I can pause it and break it down. But so many of you say, just play it so I can get the whole thing in context.
Didn't want to be in love, so I was really lashing out and acting like a little kid, and I would cheat on him all the time and tell him, and then he would stay with me, and then I lost respect for him, and I was just a mess. He was really nice to me all the time, even when I was horrible.
How does that make you feel?
It's like one of my only regrets in life was how I treated him. Yeah, it makes me like really sad. because he was like a really good guy.
Can I have your name and where you're from?
Okay. Anyway, anybody from Orlando, her name is Emily from Orlando. Stay away from Emily and from Orlando. All right, let's break this down super, super quick. But this is the point that men keep saying about modern women today. So she left. I'll just play it. I'm going to pause this a zillion times, well, or like 6.
Your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs? 100% my fault. It was the first time I dated someone after I called off my wedding.
Okay, so she called off her wedding. That's her ending the relationship. She had a man that loved her enough to buy her a ring, propose to her, and she called it off. She walked away. So it's not a toxic man. It's not he was a horrible human being. I wasn't ready. I walked away. So that's fault number 1 on her.
And I was just really excited to just like date casually. And I just like really fell for him. So for months I was like, I don't want to date you. You're not my boyfriend.
Okay, so she falls in love with a guy. And she tells him, I don't want to date you. You're not my boyfriend. Now, what signal does that send to the man? It tells him, okay, this is just a casual hookup. This is just a hookup, nothing more. She's made it very clear she doesn't want something serious. Fault number 2, hers. So far, we're 100% her fault.
And I was pretty not nice to him. And then I was like, okay, we can date. And I was just like really in love with him, but I really didn't want to be in love. So I was really lashing out and acting like a little kid. And I would cheat on him all the time.
Okay. Do you understand why men's logic is breaking down right now? Where the reality of it, I really loved him. I lashed out at him. I acted like a spoiled kid with him. I cheated on him. Why? Because I loved him. Hold on, I got a button for that. Where's my button? Let's see. This one right here.
Really?
So as a man, you're like, I don't understand this. I don't understand women. She loves me, she cares about me, but also she cheats on me. Also, she treats me horribly. And I remember one time there was if you guys remember Reddit, when they had the, the female dating strategy on there, there were multiple posts of women saying, I met a guy, I really like him, but I'm going to make him wait for sex. But in the meantime, I've got a couple of side dudes and I'm banging them every day because I don't care about them. But the guy that I actually care about, I'm making him wait. And I've done, I mean, over the course of all my 1,500 videos or whatever, I've done multiple videos on this where the women are like, no, I loved him. So I wanted him to think I'm pure. But in the meantime, I was horrible to him and I was cheating on him because I really liked him. And I just wanted to get laid by guys I didn't care about. Do you understand why my generation is screaming out loud and playing these videos and doing all this warning stuff so that you understand the true nature of women? Men love idealistically, women love opportunistically. And so these women are being opportunistic. They're sleeping with guys because they're hot, because they're athletic, because they've got money. And the men are falling genuinely in love with horrible women. And then at the end of the day, when the women say, well, dating's broken because guys just hook up and guys don't commit to us and guys don't want to take us to a restaurant and men don't love us. Here, right, you are the women that break men, break their souls. And of course, obviously, she goes on and say, well, that ruins my life. Women, this is from Evie magazine, which Evie gets a lot of things right. They do. They're written by younger women. Most of the women that write for Evie are between, I think, 20 and 30 years old. Almost all of them are married. Some of them already have children. I think they're former models or fashion women that are conservative. And it doesn't mean you agree with all of them. But the point is, these are pretty women that could be banging everybody. And they just said, I'm going to find a super hot guy that I'm really into. I'm going to marry him and have kids. So at least some women are apparently getting this right. This is from an Andrea Huber woman instead of Huberman, I suppose. Do we have a link for her? Oh, this is the Wayback Machine. I forgot I have this on the archive. Anyway, I just wanted to see a picture of her. She says, fast forward to 2025, and the same interaction now feels like a political statement. Should he pay? Should she offer? Should they split the bill? Everyone's trying to perform equality, which, if anything, just feels like performative equality. No one's enjoying the evening and both walk away feeling slightly weird. It is performative because even if you ask feminists, should a man pay for the date? Should he treat you special? Should he buy you nice things? Women say yes. And then women say, but we're equal when it comes to everything else except his money. Then we're not equal. Somewhere between hookup culture and dating apps, modern romance lost its romance. The spark is gone. Instead of feeling warm, giddy, and excited, it feels clinical and cautious. It's made us suspicious. It's made us suspicious of men and quietly suspicious of ourselves. Well, the hookup culture may make you suspicious of men because those men do just sleep with you and bounce. But it's women dating like a man and having sex like a man that has done this. She says, for some reason, 20 years after Sex and the City, we seem to be testing the theory again that men should obviously be, or women should sleep around like men. We've entered an era of hookup culture and situationships where it's suddenly not cool to want to be committed or exclusive before intimacy. Sex is supposed to be casual, no big deal. A proper date or dinner isn't even required. Women have convinced one another that casual hookups is normal, empowering even. It's positioned us as a rebellion against centuries of supposed double standards. Detachment is framed as strength. Matching men's indifference supposedly makes us equal and allows us to control our emotions. But if we're honest, it's faux liberation. So this is something that I think is funny. Women have now said, we're going to date like men, which means we casually hook up, which means we sleep around, which means we divorce our partners at the drop of a hat because we want to go hook up with something else. But here's the truth of it. Oh, Bob X shares a link. Let me grab that, sir. Thank you. He has a link. Scroll, keep scrolling. Damn it. Stop scrolling, scroll. Chat keeps scrolling here. Let me try to grab this. Ah, damn it. Let me try to control C that. Maybe instead of clicking on it, that'll work. Let's see what she looks like. Okay, that's a good, thank you for grabbing that, by the way. That's a good example. Now, I'm not saying she's a supermodel or anything. Can I open the image in a new tab? I'm not saying she's a supermodel, but she's not ugly. She's slim. And I like how the reflection in her refrigerator is accidentally giving her devil horns. That's kind of funny. Anyway, is she married? Doesn't say about her personal nature. But anyway, but my point being that this is the woman that's saying women are doing it wrong. So not all of these, women are, doing the craziness. Anyway. But women keep saying we're going to date like men, and they make it sound like men just left perfectly good girlfriends to cheat on them. They make it sound like men just left perfectly good marriages to go hook up with the secretary, and at the age of 41, leave a mother and two kids alone to go right off into the distance with their secretary. That happened a lot on TV. That happened a lot, in modern Hollywood's representation of the past. But the truth is, if you go back and look at the past, if you go look at old TV, the Dick Van Dyke Show, I Love Lucy, I can't think of a bunch of them, the Honeymooners, even though Ralph Cramden was kind of bang, zoom to the moon, Alice, he stayed with her and he loved her. The point is, though, that men weren't just walking away from women constantly when there were good women. They didn't do that, but that's the way modern Hollywood points it. So when women say, oh, well, we're dating like a man, actually you're not, because men didn't do that. That's a Hollywood trope. Most men stay with their wives, and instead of leaving them, they just gave them a black eye and told them to make bacon and not burn it next time, which is also another Hollywood trope. But anyway, the whole point is women are now not dating like men. They're just being horrible people and saying, well, we're just being like men used to be. Men weren't really like that. That's the catch-22. She goes on to say, since we're not biologically built for this, we try to fake it. Don't save his name in your phone. Be slow to reply. Never seem too eager to meet up. And if you really want to level up, have a rotation. That way you won't get attached to any of them. That is something that women took from the pickup artist community of spinning plates. And for men, it does work. Spinning plates does work. Bobek says, according to her Twitter post, she married. Okay, I'm not, God bless this stupid. Every time I click on it, it jumps on me. See if I can copy this. All right. We're impromptu. What do I get my husband for Christmas apart from a baby, of course? Yeah, so she's married. She's got a PhD. Yeah, she's married. That was kind of my point. Yes, so she is married. Thank you for the confirmation there, Bob X. Appreciate it. The more we try to perform detachment, the more we erode our feminine spirit. We're meant to love, nurture, care. It's our instinct and our beauty. Denying that pulls us somewhere dark. Slowly, women condition themselves to feel nothing at all. And she goes through all the issues, and we've talked about these a million times. But she sums it up with, maybe equality was never about splitting the bill or acting like men. Maybe it's about remembering that balance doesn't come from some sameness, but a complement. The feminine doesn't require to compete with the masculine. It was designed to dance with it instead, because when women stop pretending to be unfeeling and men are allowed to be devoted again, romance finds its way back. So what women, she obviously realized it, and what she's, oh, my chat's still up there. Let me fix that. Growing in my mustache and my face itches. So annoying. So what women are trying to, or what some women are getting, but what have we men been screaming now for going on a decade? Stop being like us. You're biologically in your brain, the oxytocin versus I forget what the release, chemical release in a men's brain is, but it's different. Women have an instant bonding, and men's bonding happens over time with being with the same woman more often, which is why guys can very comfortably go out and hook up with woman after woman after woman and not care, because it's in our DNA to spread our seed. Where men become attached to a woman is when they sleep with her often and she's the only one. For women, it is literally the opposite. That women are designed to quickly attach to one man that she's decided to sleep with, because she, at least historically speaking, would be the one getting pregnant. And she wanted to make sure she attached to that man, and that way she made the right decision of which man to sleep with, and he would stick around and raise the young. So women are now dating like men, which is what this young lady did. She dated like a man. She treated him like crap. She cheated on him. She was horrible to him, even though she loved him, which, I mean, just literally makes no sense. Well, what happens after that woman's had her fun? What after she's gone out and done all the craziness, what happens when she's running out of time and there's only a short period of life? Now, I know many of you say, dude, we know what happens. Yes, but it keeps happening, and it keeps happening from different women. And a bunch of women keep coming out saying, guys are right. Now, they won't go so far as to say guys are right. They'll just cry into their phone on their TikTok account, telling everybody how they're miserable and unhappy and life is horrible and everything else. They'll never say men were right. Even though we've been warning them, they'll still call us misogynists and everything else. That's why, as a matter of fact, if I go to my bookmarks on my Twitter feed, and I won't subjugate you to all of these, you'll see just video after video after video of regrets and women complaining and women crying. I could do a video going through all this stuff, and I cannot do videos on all the craziness. There's so much. We'd never get through all of it. And so I try to pick out the best ones. But I'm telling you, the dating market is broken because of women. Yes, 10% of men, but 90% of women. The marriage culture is messed up because of women. The divorce culture, the child custody, all of it really boils down to women trying to either be like men or try to be modern women. Here's this woman apparently came out. She had left her husband. She went out and she had her fun. She hooked up. And now this guy is secretly recording on a date because it wasn't going well. And he said, I'm going to record this and put this up on my TikTok to show you what these women are like after they've had their fun and it's time to settle down. The women literally will look you in the eye and say, I don't want fun anymore. It's time to get real. Let's get to business. And guys are like, yeah, but I don't want to be in business. I want you to have your fun with me, and then I will commit to you. But you gave all your fun to other men. Why would I commit to you? I'll start the volume off a little lower and bring it up so I don't blow your ears out again.
So what were you saying about not having fun?
I'm done having fun. I'm done having fun. I had so much fun in my 20s. So much fun with so many men. Too much fun, honestly. I think I, reached the fun limit. But I'm serious about dating. I'm in my 30s. I have a plan. I have a time frame. I have deadlines.
Right.
I want a baby in a year. I just froze my eggs. I want a ring in 9 months, and I want to be married a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So I'm looking for someone who is at that level.
Well,
and is willing to meet me at that level.
For sure. This is our first date, so
yeah, I
feel
know.
like
that's why I'm being crystal clear, because so many men look just like you, have just wasted years of my life, and I'm so sick of it, and I'm not going to let it happen.
Well, I thought you were trying to have fun, so it's
no, I'm not having fun. I'm done having
right,
fun.
You're done with fun now, but before.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, that much is clear.
A lot of men.
Yeah, I'm picturing a lot of things
and
right now.
And I don't need to do it anymore. And honestly, you're really not my type. My friend told me to go out with you, and because she seems like you're the type that wants to settle down. So
okay.
Normally I don't go for you, but I feel like maybe you're at the same place in your life and my life.
I don't know. Yeah, this might not be a great fit.
First date, and she's already laying out a full timeline like it's a business meeting. Baby in a year, ring in 9 months, marriage in 2. That's not romance. That's a checklist. The whole vibe.
Anyway, they continued on. They didn't. Why women get L's didn't post the whole thing. But this is the rationale as a man. Now, this guy's not bad looking. She said, "I've had plenty of fun, and I just wanted to have fun." And then she backtracks and says, "Men like you are the problem. Like, men like you are the problem." And he's like, "Wait, you said you wanted to have fun. You had fun with these guys. These guys had fun with you." Well, believe it or not, Roughneck says that video can't be real. Here's how you know AI is still AI, by the way, is it's usually an 8 to 10 second snippet. This is full on her for a minute and a half, just spilling her guts out there. So this is definitely real. Yes, we wish it's fake, but it's not, because he has his phone kind of propped up against the glass, it looks like. But this is what so many men are experiencing. They say, look, I want her to give me the fun years, and I fall in love with her, and she's special, and she's awesome. And after we have fun together, I will commit my life to her because she's awesome, and I want to be with her. Instead, women are given the good years to dudes that don't care. And yet, you're right, by the way, chat. She is dead inside. She's dead inside. It's now time to, quote unquote, get to business. Now she has a time frame. Now she has it all laid out because she's out of time from screwing around for too long with too many men. There is no love left in her. There is no passion. There's no romance. It's now down to finding her bailout, finding what's left. This from Blaze Media. Something has gone terribly wrong. Marriage is in disastrous decline. Now, they say perhaps because of women. Spoiler alert, because of women. The percentage of 12th grade girls who indicated they want to one day get married has dropped by over 20% in the last 30 years. Now, for those of you abroad, 12th grade is seniors, here a senior in high school, which is usually 17 or 18, very rarely 19 unless they're not the brightest, bulb in the batch. So that's usually women that are just about the age to go out, date, they could get married, they could start having families. So it's right at that age. The marriage rate has been in decline for decades, dropping from 10.6 per 1,000 in 1980 to 6.1, a 40% reduction. With married couples heading only 47% of households, the apparent aversion to marriage is bad news for American children who perform better in school and are far less likely to end up in prison or depressed when raised by married parents. Recent Pew Research Center analysis of survey data from the University of Michigan suggests the decline may continue, especially if young women's growing resistance. Now, listen to these numbers, okay? In 20 years ago, 80% of 12th graders say they were more likely to choose marriage in the long run. Only 67% now. That's a drop of 13%. Another 24% said they don't know if they'll get married, up from 16% in 1993. So the feminist indoctrination in high school from our mainstream media is working. This drop appears to have largely been driven by shifting views among girls, feminism. In 1993, 83% of girls and 76% of boys said they wanted to get married. And that's a difference of about, 7%. So not huge. But now, only 61% of girls say they want to get married, a drop of 22%, while 74% of boys indicated they wanted to ultimately tie the knot, a drop of 2%. In other words, I'm not doing my job well enough because, as we know,
smart men don't get married.
Smart men do not get married because of this. So women now have dropped by 22% wanting to get married, men 2%. It's not the men that are running around sleeping with everybody. It's not the men that are ruining marriages, not wanting to propose, not wanting to get married, not having kids. It's not the men. I've done multiple videos on multiple studies and multiple polls, and this is another one to stick into your cap. It's the women that no longer want it. So you guys that say, man, I really wanted to get married, I really wanted to have a family, and I want to do this, but I can't. It's not you. It's genuinely not you that has broken the system. It is the women. The women have broken this completely down. They say Pew indicated that there was also a precipitous drop in the percentage of 12th graders who indicated they wanted to have kids if they marry, where in 1993, 82% said they wanted to have kids. In 2023, only 73% indicated they wanted to welcome new life into this world. And those who said it would be very likely to want to have kids if married dropped from 64% to 48% in 2023. So this is the problem. It's women. The feminism is working. So now women don't want families. Men still do. Women enter the workforce and compete with men, shoving men out of the workforce or causing men to make less money. Then women only want to date up because of hypergamy, and the whole system's screwed up. The whole mess is because women don't want families. Women want to be like men. Women date like men. Women sleep around like men, supposedly men, even though men aren't really doing that. Women, and so what's so funny is women want the power of man. What's a good way to put this? Women want the power of a man, the privileges of a woman, and they want no responsibility for either. That's what really women want. It's the I'm strong and powerful, I'm better than men, but also men treated me badly and thus men suck. Like, it can't be all things. Katie Faust, founder of the children's advocacy group Them Before Us, stated more than anything else trending, this terrifies me. Because of the nature of our bodies, women have historically pursued marriage more. What kind of disastrous, anti-human messaging are young women being flooded with to return these kinds of results? It's feminism. Feminism in school, feminism in high school, feminism in college. She didn't say that. That's me saying that. Dr. Brad Wilcox, professor of sociology at the University of Virginia and director of the National Marriage Project, said the anti-nuptial trend among young women and adolescent girls was disastrous. Not men, women. Wilcox understood this trend reflects a particularly raw deal for women, highlighting a recent YouGov survey of U.S. women ages 25 to 55 fielded by the Institute for Family Studies and Wheatley Institute, which found that married women with children are more likely to report being very happy than both unmarried women with children and unmarried women without children. More likely, 47%, to report that life felt enjoyable most of all or most of the time, versus 40% with unmarried women without children. Unmarried women with children, 40%, and unmarried women without children, 34%. What I do find interesting about this study is that married women with children were the most happy. Single women with children were the next tier down as far as happiness. So granted, single mothers now have the state to rely upon. And so they've replaced baby daddy with big government. But the point is, whether a woman is married with kids or single with kids, both are happier than unmarried without children. The unmarried single women without kids are the least happy of all women. So, ta-da! Feminism has completely brainwashed women into the most unhappy position in life they could have. And then when channels like mine or men like us talk about it, they call us all the names and say that we're the patriarchy and all. We're trying to save society, genuinely. Stop breaking yourselves, women. Stop breaking yourselves. Go back to being well-adjusted, normal human beings. Stop sleeping around. Stop hooking up. Find a good boyfriend. Get married. Have children. Don't get divorced. Work through the problems. And that's the biggest odds of you being happy. This wife, and now this directly, let's do this video instead. We'll swap these. I had two videos up here. We'll swap them out. This is what young women are doing today. They think, oh, I want the easy money. Oh, how many times have we said, Stop hooking up. The body count matters. Yes, it matters to men, but you know what women won't admit? The body count matters to them. Now, they won't say it overtly. They won't say it out loud. They say, I've slept with 100 people. Nothing's wrong with me. And then they go on to have completely failed and miserable lives. 10% of young women today are on OnlyFools. How many times? 10%. 10% of women between the ages of 18 and 25. That's the prime age where most men want to find a girlfriend and maybe get engaged. And 10% are showing their starfish on the internet for money. And we keep pushing back against this. Well, let's hear it from another woman that wishes she had listened to men like us before she ruined her life.
Here's why starting an OnlyFans was the worst decision I made in my life. I did not realize that I was literally selling parts of my soul and the money could have never made it worth it. I just wish that someone would have warned me and told me that I was going to be later experiencing PTSD from the sexual trauma and the experiences that I was subjecting myself to on a daily basis. I did not.
She wishes somebody warned her. How about men? Not a guy, not a couple of guys, men. Men. Body count matters. Men. Don't put your starfish on the internet for money. Men. Don't do this. We don't want you if you do this. I guarantee you, myself and all the other male content creators out there like me, okay, you go on X and look at any of these posts, and all you see is thousands upon hundreds of thousands of men saying, don't stop it. Like, don't. Please stop this. But they ignore us. And all the other women are, oh, you go, girl, you're so brave and you're so stunning. And in the meantime, she ruined herself. And honestly, look, she's an attractive gal. And when I say that, guys, I'm not saying she's particularly the right woman for me or you. I'm just saying she's not going to have a hard time finding a date. But the problem is now she is going to have a hard time finding a date because of what she does. And number two, she's broken. She's literally said, I sold my soul. My soul is broken now. I am a broken person. Now, will guys still sleep with her and hook up with her? Oh, you betcha. But no man wants to marry this. No man wants this to be the mother of his children. Whether she did the OnlyFools solo by herself, just showing starfish photos, or she showed herself hooking up with dudes in the video. No guy wants her beyond anything other than recreational use. And she even admits, I'm broken.
Know that I would later need to be in trauma counseling. It brought me into way darker places than I ever could have imagined, and I never want to go back there. I wish I could go back in time to who I was before I started doing all that stuff and just tell myself that the money is not worth it. Keep your happiness. And that's all I want to tell any girl who's thinking about starting an account. I just hope I can save even just one girl from going through the pain and the trauma that I am now going through because I subjected myself to that for the last couple years.
What's so weird about this is that you can take this video and give it to younger women today that are thinking about joining it. And you know what they say? The same thing all young people say. Won't happen to me. It won't happen to me. I'm different. I know divorce statistics are through the roof and guys that have to pay alimony and lose child custody and won't happen to me. She is not the same as all these other women. It won't happen to me. Smash cut to Steven Crowder, who calls people that didn't want to get married and have kids incels and losers, and they calls the MGTOW community losers. And then the minute he gets divorced and raked over the coal for millions of dollars and has to fight for custody of even seeing his kid, he goes, oh, I get it now. They never listen. They never listen. So if only she had listened to us men that have been calling this out for a decade, she would have saved herself the trauma. How ironic. Well, something's definitely gone wrong with marriage, and it's women. And at least I'll give Blaze Media props in this. They don't blame the men, but they still have to say perhaps because of women. It is because of women. In your own data down below, it says it's the women. But at least they're not blaming men. But we're trying. The part that drives me the craziest. Sorry for I'm mumbling. The part that drives me the craziest about this, we don't hate women. I know some of you hate women. Maybe you're in your red pill rage phase. We don't hate women. We like women. We want women to be good. We want women to be dateable. We want women to be pure, demure, not only fools, starfish showers. We don't want women sleeping with we want them to be like, let's go back 60 years. That's the women we want. And we want them to be no or low body count coming to marriage. We want them to stay home and raise children with love and not be what they are today. That's not hating women. It's hating women that are breaking that contract and are becoming women we don't want to date, we don't want to marry. That's the irony. I think many guys are in this community or watch content like this because either A, they loved a woman and loved her very much and were done so dirty, it broke them. It broke their spirit. And now they're like, well, I have to protect myself against it. I can't go through that again. My will has been broken. I still love women probably more than I should. I got to stop because they're going to destroy me. That's some men in this community. There's other men that say, man, I got ran through the courts. Financially, it destroyed me. And then there's young men that say, I just want good women to date. And none of the women are good to date anymore. And they certainly won't date me. And the whole thing's broken. No one's here because they're like, I want to see another video hating on women today. Actually, a couple of you are. I know that's true. But the most of us are like, I'm here because it's a mess. And I want more validation that it's not me that broke it. I want more validation that I'm not a crazy person, that me as a man, it's not my fault. Congratulations. That's why we're here. So you can see women admitting and society finally admitting, yeah, it's kind of on the women now. From Quicken, would your spouse leave you if you lost your job? Now, this is very clear that they don't mention the men versus women. They're very clear about that. They don't want to mention men versus women in this because men, whether you're a feminist woman or you're a traditional woman, women want men to make the money. And there's the study that 90% of college-educated women will leave their husband if they start making more money, if they're the breadwinner, if they are more successful than the husband. 90% of college-educated women will do that. So which are the people that would leave a relationship if their spouse lost the job? Men or women? Well, we know it's women. Men love idealistically. Women love opportunistically. They say people tend not to think about separating when they're standing at the altar, but for many respondents, the thought would cross their minds should their spouse lose their job and then demonstrate financially irresponsible behavior. The overwhelming majority, 80% of married people who were laid off in the last 12 months would consider leaving their spouse if their spouse lost their job, which is nearly double the number of married people who would consider it and weren't laid off themselves. The most common reasons people would consider ending their marriage was if their laid off spouse were spending too much money, 21%, if they remain unemployed for more than a few years, 16%, and if they weren't putting off the effort to put in a new job, 16%. I don't know a lot of men. Let's play this out. Let's just play this out. If we could still pay the bills, if we could still keep our noses above water. Both times I was married, my wife did work. Yes, for those of you that don't know, I tried this stupid thing twice. I tried marriage twice and both failed epically. Not me, I was perfect. Isn't that what the women say? It wasn't me, it was her. It was definitely her. 0% my fault. But the point is, right? The point is, had either one of them lost their jobs, financially, we would have been okay. Still could afford the rent, still could afford because that's my responsibility as a dude. And during my first marriage, I worked 2 jobs to make sure that I was the bread earner. Now, yeah, both wives made money, but we would have been okay. If they lost their job, would I leave them? Not unless they were spending money like water, going to put us into bankruptcy and didn't do anything around the house. Then, yeah, maybe I would have. Only because she was dragging us under but if we could keep our nose afloat and she said, you know what, I want to be a stay-at-home wife and I want to cook dinner and I keep a clean apartment and make your life easier. Okay, deal. I'll try it. If they said, if I wanted kids, I want to be the stay-at-home mom and I'll teach them instead of having to send them off to school and we don't need to pay for a babysitter. Okay, fair enough. How many women would do that with men? It's not going to happen. We know this. So, anyway, Some groups of respondents were willing to stick it out more than others. The most loyal are boomers, where only 21% of respondents would consider leaving their spouse in any situation should they lose their job. Over half of married Gen Xers would consider leaving their spouse, and nearly 3/4 or 71% of married millennials would, meaning that if you're my age or younger, the odds are in your favor that if you become unemployed, she's going to leave you. And this is the important one. Staying together for the kids is a myth. Conventional thinking would have us believe that married people with kids are more likely to make a marriage work under any circumstance, but survey findings prove the opposite is true. Surprisingly, if the spouse lost the job, over 2/3, 68% of married people with children, women, under 18 would consider leaving in at least one situation. Only 19% of married people with children over the age of 18 said the same. So if you have kids and you lose your job, it's more likely that she bails because A, child support for the kids. B, government handouts. Government will help her. So she says, I got a man that's not giving me any money, and I got government that will give me money if I'm a single mom. And so she bounced. And that's going to lead us to this. This is the last story we're doing here in just a minute. Divorce plunged in Kentucky. Equal custody for fathers is a big reason why. Because the default is 50-50 custody. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. 50-50 custody. Women said, oh, so I can't get any money for child support. And if I'm single and I don't have sole custody of the kids, I have to work a job. I can't get all the government handouts. Okay, I guess I'll stay with it. I guess I'll stay with him. That's the big spoiler. This is a very long read. We won't read through all of it, but that's the spoiler alert, everybody. That the minute they can't get the golden parachute, they're going to stick around. That's why it's always been about the money. It's always about the money. Here's a good example. This wife thought she'd be happier after filing for divorce because she thought she was going to get the golden parachute of being able to take life easy because of child support. Spoiler alert, no. And because she's not making the extra child support, because she didn't get the golden parachute, she's not so happy.
I'm divorced. I thought I'd be happier, except the judge set the child support amount.
If you didn't understand that, she said, because I had to listen to it a couple times, she said, I thought I'd be happier, except the judge set the child support amount. That's what Mumble-Mouth here just said.
At $326 a month. $326 a month for 2 kids for child support is what he has to pay me. $326 a month. Because he's not working. Because he chooses not to. I was able to cross-examine him, which was fun. And I asked him how many hours a week he spends working or trying to sell houses, because technically he still has a real estate license, so technically he's still a realtor. He said 15 hours a week, approximately, is how many hours he works per week. Grown man, grown able-bodied man with transportation and no childcare to worry about, says he works 15 hours a week.
Now, since we're coming up on, we're at 50 minutes here, and I don't want to make this another 2-hour stream like I did the other day. I'm just going to quickly touch on this article instead of reading through it. Why midlife divorce is good for you as long as you're a woman. Now, why would it only be good for you as long as you're a woman? Well, because women are empowered, stunning, and brave, and men are idiots. And women can take a lot of the money with them when they leave. And so as a man, it sucks for you because you lose half of everything that you've accumulated as a working man. Because remember, midlife divorce, that's around my age. I've always out-earned women. I can't think of a case where I've dated a woman or married a woman that out-earned me, even though several of them had degrees. One had a PhD. Two had PhDs. I still out-earned them because I hustled and I had part-time jobs and I worked 80 hours a week. And I had good jobs. You know, they weren't low-paying jobs. So, and I'm not saying that I'm anything special. The point is I found pride in being the breadwinner. I didn't want to get out-earned by anybody, my wife or girlfriends or whatever, because I have some pride. So as a man, you lose because you lose half of everything. As a woman, you win because you win half of everything. Also, it's good for women because stunning and brave, and that men are actually bad. I'm not kidding. That's actually what this article kind of insinuates. This is the main story that I'll go through here. Divorce plunged in Kentucky. Equal custody for fathers is the big reason why. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, how are we doing on time? Let me read the live chats because they disappear in an hour. Kryptonian Jedi says, F you, buddy. Thank you. Same to you, sir. Thanks for the $2. Roughneck says that video can't be effing real. I read that one, but yes. Unfortunately, the video of the lady here on this bad date, yes, it is real. The Brentster says, $50. Hey, thank you very much. Let me find an applause button here for you. Women want the authority of a man, the privilege of a woman, and the responsibility of a child. You know, that's not bad. I say the responsibility of neither, but responsibility of a child is a pretty good way to put that as well. Thank you, sir. Cobalt says, remember, Joker, you're the entertainment director at all times. Speaking of which, by the way, yes, don't forget, while you mentioned entertainment director, I usually save this for the very end of the video, but I'll sneak it in before the end. Don't forget to join us over at betterbachelor.locals.com. Tonight, Saturday night, we have movie night. I haven't selected the movies. It'll probably be Thanksgiving and or Christmas themed because it is that time of year. So you can join me and hundreds of other dudes. We usually have between 100 and 200 guys. We pile into a locals live stream. You can share memes. You can share GIFs. You can share inappropriate comments and things that sometimes make me mad. And they do it because it makes me mad and they think it's funny. Anyway, you can come over and join a ton of dudes that we do a bunch of stuff. We got classic, underrated, nostalgic television on Wednesdays we do. And of course, we've got Saturday night at the Cinema House. We do UFC fight nights on some Saturdays, so we do movies on Friday. Or if there's no UFC, like tonight, we do movies on Saturday night. And we watch football games, mostly the Buffalo Bills, because I'm a fan. And everybody likes to watch as I pull my hair out because Buffalo sucks. They're kind of good, but they also kind of suck. So if you like sports, you like all that stuff, come on over, join us over at betterbachelor.locals.com. There it is again, and join us up. And I think you will enjoy it. It's $5. Drop a $5, join us, come check it out. And if you're like, oh, this is stupid, which you won't, then, you know, it was $5. But I think you'll find that you want to stick around the community and have a good time. Okay. From Bowling Green, Kentucky, the dads were not all right. Shocking. It was 2017, and across Kentucky, divorced fathers were coming together against a common enemy, a custody system they felt favored their ex-wives, and they would be correct about that. Although custody laws in Kentucky and elsewhere granted judges discretion to decide what split was in the child's best interest, aggrieved fathers claimed that this typically meant relegating them to the role of every other weekend Disneyland dads forced to cram 2 days of fun into what mothers had 2 weeks to create. Now, let me just make this point before I continue on. You notice it's the dads that are fighting for more custody of their kids. It is dads fighting. So this whole deadbeat dad and men just want to walk away and men don't care about their kids, they'd rather give money, is a lie. Because the dads of Kentucky went to court and battled and fought because they want to be dads. That doesn't fit with a narrative of deadbeat dad. So these women that claim that stuff are lying. Men want to be fathers in their children's lives overwhelmingly, except for Bubex's dad, but I can't do anything about that, Bubex. Anyway, you become like Uncle Dad instead of parent, said Rob Holdsworth, 53 years old. In 2014, he reluctantly uprooted his life and civic service career in Dayton, Ohio, to relocate to Bowling Green, where his ex-wife had moved with their 2 sons. He took the only job he could find, working nights in a soap factory to see the boys just a few times a month. So now you've got a father that has to leave his friends, leave his family, leave his career, leave everything to chase after her. And now he's just desperate to stay part of the children's lives, his boys' lives. That's not a deadbeat dad. That is the definition of a good father that is being wronged by the system. It was very sad to be here a couple of miles away from my kids and told I'm not going to get to see them more than that, he said. Alone in the house near his son's elementary school, wandering in and out of the empty bedroom, staring at the "Daddy, you are our superhero" crayon poster they gave him for Father's Day, Holdsworth had more time than he knew how to fill. He resolved to spend it by lobbying for legislation granting dads like him more rights in divorce or separation. Now you notice he got every other weekend visitation rights, and he never did anything wrong. He didn't harm the kids or her. He didn't do anything. It's just he lost 90% of the time with his children just because. Around the country, fathers' rights movements were gaining momentum, dividing time and decision-making equally between parents. Advocates argued, reducing children's feelings of abandonment, promoted gender equality, and lowered tensions between feuding couples. There's no law that affects more people other than taxes or traffic, said Matt Hale, vice chair of the National Parents Organization, an advocacy group formerly known as Fathers and Families. Giving kids equal access to both their parents is just common sense. Yes, and we do know that children that have a father in their lives are much less likely to end up in prison, to do harmful things to other people, to be a menace of society. Children need fathers. Anyway, it went into law in 2018, and the law has become a model for other states. And this is the important part right here. The law has become a model for other states, not least because Kentucky's divorce rates have plummeted. Between 2016 and 2023, it fell by 25%, compared with a nationwide decline of 18%. Now you say, well, that's only 7% difference. But if you look at how many people actually get divorced, right, that's just the raw divorce rate. So that is a much bigger deal. That it's not a 7% decline in divorce. It's out of all divorces, or just the divorces. No, let me correct that. Out of all marriages, divorce declined by 7%. So it's actually a larger number. He calls the drop in the divorce rate an unintended bonus of the custody law. He suggested that parents are increasingly likely to stay together because they'll realize they'll be in regular touch regardless. They might as well work it out, he added, and he's heard stories of couples who decided not to break up because of the presumption of shared custody and years later are glad they stayed together. So you take the money out of this. You take the golden parachute out for these women and say, you're not going to get any extra money. He's still going to have half the say in the family and what happens to the kids, and you're not going to be able to cash out. And the women, a large percentage of the women say, you know something? We're gonna stick it out. We're gonna stick it out. Now, of course, women like this one, spoiler alert, I know you're gonna find this a shock. Women like this one say, oh, it puts kids at risk because they're stuck with maybe a dad that's bad. So they use the very slim percentage of men that are actually bad to try to say the whole system should be torn down. She has resting feminist face. That's what she's got. So, of course, women are out here fighting, saying, oh, it's so bad. That's 9 minutes of this article. Oh, it's bad because these fathers are horrible men. The truth is not that. They say a big concern with this law is that a lot of dads are going to say they want 50-50 custody when what they really want to do is reduce their child support. Holdsworth said that if men he's met through their father's rights movement, for maybe a third, it was obvious to me they all they cared about was money. But he added, most dads want their kids for the right reason. Okay, so is it bad for a dad to say, I want more custody of my kids because I love them and I do want to spend time with them, but yes, also it lessens child support for me. So yeah, I'll watch the kids half the time. Is that really evil? Is it evil for a dad to say, no, I'll take equal custody if it means I get to see my kids more and I have to pay less in child support? I don't think that's a bad thing, because if you ask women, would you take more custody of the kids if it meant you got more child custody and you got a bigger payout? There's a whole lot of women that are like, yeah, that's the whole reason I'm doing this. Anyway, the whole theme of this, the equal parenting, is a win-win-win, because men get more custody of their kids. Men lobbied for this. It's what they want. And the guys that say, I don't want more custody of my kids, she can have the custody of the kids, fine, let them pay the paycheck, because they still do in this case. But for the men that want to be equal partners, the men that want to be fathers, the men that want to be in their lives, this allows them to. And they don't get double hit by not only losing custody of their kids, but they actually get to keep the children in their lives. That's a win-win-win as far as I'm concerned. Did I have anything else? No, just my bookmark. So, look, I know sometimes if you look at the thumbnails of my videos, you might go, I've seen this before. No, you haven't. It's always a new poll, a new study, a new video, a new something that shows that women are not learning what we're telling them. Even if data proves it, even if we're able to back our stats up, we've been right on almost everything. And when I say we, I mean the men that they want to call the red pill, incel, loser, hateful, who hurt you men. We've been right. The data shows it. You take money out of child custody cases, you take money out of divorce. Women either don't get married, which is fine, or they don't get divorced and they decide to work things out. You take these women that are absolutely miserable people that leave the good men of their lives and they treat good men like horrible. And then you say, well, whose fault is it? And they're like, 100% mine, man. I screwed that up. Women are dating like, I'm just kind of going over a summary of everything we talked about. Women are dating like men. Now dating is miserable. Women are sleeping around till their 30s and now they can't find anybody and men don't want them. The feminism taught women they can be just like men, and now young women don't want to get married and start families, and it's not the men. The men still want families, which is this one. Showing your starfish on the internet has ramifications. That women will leave you if you lose your job. 90% of them will leave you if they're more successful or they're college educated. All the data's here. It's all right here. She was happy about her divorce until she realized she's getting no money out of it. All the data's here. It's all here. So when people call you a loser on the internet or people say that you're crazy for thinking the way you do, it's because they've got their head in the sand. They stick their head in the sand and they la, I can't hear you. And they pretend none of this is happening. But time after time after time and study, and poll after poll, we're right. We've always been right. Even though they try to kick us off the internet or demonetize channels that say this, we've never been proven wrong. Not in anything that I think I've done in 1,500 videos over 6 years. Do I really feel like, wow, I really blew that one? Maybe there's a couple. But the more you watch of it, and the more you listen to it, the more you see it, the more you realize, nah, we're still right. I still profess to be winning the side of the argument as more and more data and more crazy videos of women come out that they just say, nope, we got this one wrong. They'll never say the men were right. They can't do that. The feminist programming is too deep. So instead of saying men were right, they'll just say my life sucks and I don't know why. And then when we tell them why, they just call us losers, misogynistic pigs. Doesn't matter. I sleep like a baby at night knowing the content I put out, the message I send, and the content you watch is correct. And every video I put out will prove that one way or another. So, guys, don't forget, again, one more time, very quickly, make sure to join us, betterbachelor.locals.com. Great community of like-minded guys. We watch movies, we watch TV, we watch sporting events, we do lots of great things, and it's very much fun. So come over and join us today. We got tons of people over there. We have a really good time. I have just a few hours to pick what movies we're going to be watching tonight and make sure I have them ready and all the rest of it. So I will leave it there. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, get Rumble, use Rumble, get Rumble Premium if you don't have it. Support Rumble because they support free speech and content channels like mine. I'm growing very well on Rumble. I haven't grown on YouTube in a year because YouTube puts the thumb on the scale. And I know you guys are watching this on Rumble right now, but some people watch us on YouTube. YouTube puts the thumb on the scale. They do not want our message to get out there. It has nothing to do with me personally. I mean, maybe they don't like me personally, but they do not want the message to get out. I don't know why, but I think you know. I think we all know, even though we don't know why. All right, gang, I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next one.